Well, it was a big response from Arsenal today. It had to be. And you've had a look, Danny, at why they got so much joy down that right-hand side. Was it down to them or the way Spurs set up?
Well, it's fair to say Spurs were pretty poor at times, but Arsenal were outstanding. And this partnership on the right-hand side that they haven't had in recent weeks of Saka in his most comfortable position and Timber behind, when at its best, is one of the best in Europe. And Tottenham could not cope with them today, especially in the first half, time and time again. Now, I know this team's working on some new things with the manager, but some of it's basic. There's Timber. Simon's playing as a 10. Finds himself in a left-back position, trying to double up. Doesn't really want to be there. 2v1, Jed Spence, the wing-back. Little early warning for Tottenham. And we know how good Timber is. He makes all sort of runs. He's a good player. Spence, again, caught in between. Saka's behind him this time. Sarr has left the central midfield area to come over and try and help. Rather, they don't know who's doing what. You don't want to be left one-on-one with Saka in the left-back position when you're a midfielder. You know, he should do better, but there's the first goal. And they didn't fix this problem. It just went on and on and on as the game, you know, got more open. This one, Saka inside Spence and Van der Ven, 3 centre-backs. Van der Ven's the left one. Spence is the wing-back. You can see Saka pointing where he wants it. Jed Spence is asking Van der Ven. The communication's poor from Tottenham. Great ball and, again, nearly score a goal. Opening them up too often. Now, Jed Spence here, I don't know whether he's been told to go and press or what the messaging is, but if he just drops in and marks Saka, leaves Sarr to close Timber down, you don't get this situation because, as I said, when you're a central midfielder and you find yourself in full-back positions, you get a bit lost. And then Spence switches off. Timber gets in again because he's non-stop. He loves making runs in behind. And Trossard's unlucky little deflection takes it past the post. More of the same second half. I actually felt for Jed Spence as the game went on. He didn't know what to do, whether to drop off or press. The 2v1 situation again, little knockdown from Rice and a bit of last-ditch defending to stop Eze getting a shot in. And this, if you leave Timber free, the quality he's got, I mean, this is a wonderful pass. Yeah, there's still a bit to do from Gyökeres, but he's just an outstanding player, and they really struggled to stop that threat today. Didn't really know who to go, when to go. Poor communication, poor plan, I don't know. And Saka topped off a brilliant performance, nearly with a goal, ends up Eze getting the goal. But that position he kept taking inside, the inside right position, no one really sure who to get him. And his stats were phenomenal today. I mean, there's been a few question marks about him recently. What do they say? Form is temporary, class is permanent. He's a class operator, he really is. And I think playing him on that right side, leaving him to get on with it, with Timber supporting him, is where we'll see him the rest of the season, because I know he played as a 10 the other day. There was a real energy and urgency, wasn't there? And the game, as you pointed out there, became quite open quite quickly. But there's one performance in particular you want to have a look at, Shay. Yeah. And Steve Wilson asked Viktor Gyökeres if that was his best game. Steve clearly thought it was. Viktor did, and you'd third it.
Yeah, I'll third it, Gavi, yeah. No, I really think it was a special game for him. You know, there's so much talk before he joined the club. They need an out-and-out striker. And I think Gyökeres today really said to the Arsenal fans and maybe to the Premier League, I've arrived. It was one of them kind of performances. He did everything you want from a centre-forward, he really did. You see here, peeling on the back of Paulinho today was a right-side centre-half and of course, Dragusin as well. You know, occupying the middle of the goal. He wins a header, can go anywhere, of course. But if you just keep an eye on him, his movement is what we say a natural centre-forward. He frees up space for elsewhere. You see here, Paulinho jumps in. Creates the space down the channel, the left channel, and that's where he's done a lot of his good work. This was his first half, of course, very close to getting on the score sheet. We know Arsenal, brilliant from set plays. He's a physical threat in the air as well. This time, Saliba should really score with that knockback from Gyökeres. And again, I know Danny mentioned the goal there before, but look at his movement here. His first touch makes it. He doesn't even look up to where the goal is. It's a phenomenal strike. Vicario, absolutely no chance. And even here, later on in the game, he's down the side where you want him, your centre forward, keeping high up the pitch. You're away from home in a North London derby. It's a big game. And this is what I love as well. You know, Tottenham put a high press on them. You want your centre forward down that side, chasing lost causes sometimes at times. And you see Arteta, he's happy with his centre forward. And this is, you know, the icing on the cake in the injury time. He's so strong, he's so powerful. Can he finish it under pressure from Gray? Too right he can. And I think that was his for me, his best performance, and a perfect time as well to get it on the run into the end of the season.
He's scored more goals in all competitions in 2026 than any other Premier League player, so he really is hitting his stride, isn't he? At the right time for Arsenal as well. I'm sure they'll be delighted with his form in 26. Now, you want to have another look at the disallowed goal for Spurs, and it's important to say it was the context of when it occurred in the game that you think is really important in particular.
I mean, Arsenal fans might want to switch off now because they won 4-1, but I'm just getting to a point whereas this could have been 2-2 in the game, and the only reason I wanted to look at it is because the last two games, Brentford away for Arsenal, obviously Wolves that they were, midweek they had a really poor giveaway leads in the game, and I wanted to look at this. This is to bring it back to 2-2, and imagine Gabby in a North London derby as well, how much the stadium would erupt if this had been allowed. I just think it's soft. I mean, Peter Banks gives, you see Gabriel, you see Mouani, there's a coming together, but this is the Premier League. We talk about it every single week. It's a physical sport. There is coming together. If I'm with Danny, I'm going to barge him, I'm going to bump him, and the way Gabriel's gone down, I mean, I don't know what they say. I don't want to be too strong here, but the BAFTAs are up the road. And look at his legs up in the air. I mean, it's crazy. And I think Peter Banks could have let that go, or even at least spoke to VAR. And the reason we say it, because there's another couple of examples. This is early in the season. You look at Euro on Bassi here. This goal was allowed.
This was in August.
Yeah, this is in August, Gabby, and this goal was allowed. There's a push on the back there. The refs give it on the pitch. It's gone to VAR. They've said it's a goal as well, and there's much more of a push there, I think, than today's push, for example. I think that's a stronger push, and Tottenham fans will really be angry at this stage now, because this is Ekitike on Romero early in the season. Watch this. See, I don't think this is a foul here in Ekitike's defence. He's got up early. It's a physical game, but that goal stands. Today's goal doesn't stand, and maybe I'm clutching a bit because Danny rightly says Arsenal were a much better team today, but getting back to 2-2, I
think it's the psychology.
It's the psychology.
If it's 2-2
in the
it's
title
very
race.
Different, isn't it?
Yeah. How do the Arsenal fans react?
I agree with you. I think it's something you want consistency.
Yeah.
The reality is that if you love football and you enjoy watching it, you don't expect 6'4" centre half to be falling over. But to be fair to Gabriel, he knows generally that if you get a touch in the back and you go over, you're going to get it. So it's a kind of chicken and egg thing. Whereas the referees have got to be stronger. But the two examples you showed. More or less exactly the same. So they have a reason to feel disappointed today, I think, Tottenham.
But Arsenal fans right now are saying, but we won 4-1 and we now have our 5-point buffer back.
And probably would have won anyway.
Yeah, and so that 5-point buffer is back. We don't know when that extra game that Manchester City are one game behind, obviously, in the table is going to be played. Yet it hasn't been scheduled. We do know that City and Arsenal will play each other on the 18th of April. We heard Arteta there saying, this is a marathon. Is this going down to the wire, do you think?
It looks that way. I mean, Man City last night had a tough game against Newcastle. Newcastle were strong second half. They came out on top, Man City. You can see the sort of celebrations or Pep Guardiola, see the glint back in his eye. He feels that this Man City team can really pull it together, really push Arsenal away. I mean, to be fair to Arteta, he's been in the same dugout with Pep. He knows he's not going to give up right to the final game of the season. And you mentioned the game April 18th. That looks like nearly like a cup final. Who's going to win the Premier League? And that's what we want as a neutral.
It's that weekend.
We want it to go all the way to the wire.
Yeah. You and neutral.
Yeah, I'm neutral.
And at the other end of the table, Spurs started the day, Danny, at 4 points off the relegation zone. And let's have a look at their next six fixtures, because they are right in it now.
They are bang in trouble because they're so low on confidence. They've got very few of their best players fit. They've also got to try and get, the European campaign in. Well, they're tough games physically. A lot of these games they're going to have a chance of course they are. Fulham, Palace, Forest, even Liverpool can play badly at the moment. We've seen that. They're in a hell of a battle.
Romero back for Liverpool. Other players, of course, to come back as well.
I'm not sure who's going to get back and when. The reality is it doesn't matter who's playing. If they're disorganised and the confidence is low and giving up as many chances as they are today, they're going to have problems.
Spurs staying up for you?
It's going to be tight. They haven't won a game in the Premier League this year. So that's a concern. Tudor's come in this week. It was a heavy defeat today in the North. It's the worst possible start for him. And as Danny Wright says, them fixtures on paper look easy, but the way they're playing, they're decimated by injuries at the minute. So I'll say but it's going to be close.
I think just about.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of football. When you look back the game against Wolves, how the hell you draw a game there, it's just impossible to explain. There are no words to explain how this happened. But it happened, and you have to lift yourself up from the floor because you can feel sorry for yourself. But the reaction of the boys immediately was extraordinary. And I'm not surprised what they've done today, because I'm with them every day and I know how much they want it.
If I may say so, I think that's your best performance in an Arsenal shirt. Would you feel the same way? Yeah, I think it was good, and then yeah, I think I could have done a few things better, but yeah, it was enjoyable for me.
A difficult game, bad result, better team that beat us. So congratulations to them and good lesson for us. And but we need to look forward and start to work from Tuesday harder than before.
You said the other day you are 100% convinced that Tottenham will be a Premier League team next season. You're still certain?
Of course I am.
If it goes all the way to the end of the season, and it might, you look like a side who are up for that challenge.
I mean, we know this is the Premier League. It's gonna go all the way till the end. That's for sure. 10 games in the Premier League is a long marathon. You can see where teams are winning, where teams are not dropping points just in the last second for millimeters. These are the margins.